So this Friday we are talking about such an important subject, which is gut health. So if you are not driving or you're somewhere where you can grab a pen and a piece of paper, because I'm hoping to give you real life solutions and help to help your gut perform better, make you a happier, healthier, and just more well-adjusted human being. Okay, hi guys, welcome everybody. So hello, I am Coach Nikki. I am here in Lake Tahoe. It's raining, which is so exciting. We need the water, we need the rain. And I am excited and have been researching gut health for many years. If you have been with me on these live calls throughout the years, we've probably talked many times, but I know for me, it really helps to continue the conversation and to see like where things are evolving and what we can do to just make little simple changes in our life that make significant difference in how we feel, in how we are losing weight or gaining weight, how we interact with one another. Hi, welcome. Oh, my mom's back. Welcome, Mom. So my mom has been teaching in Poland, and she is back in the US. Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. Great to see everybody on. So we're gonna just take a real quick look at the importance of gut health and how we can simply make these changes that help everything inside us. It helps flatten our stomach, it helps increase our metabolism, helps us gain weight, really helps us control like our hormones, our thyroid, almost every single thing in life, and really helps you feel a little bit lighter. And for me, I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm making like dietary changes, it feels better to think about something that's going to help everything than like, oh, I just want to lose weight. So we can say like, oh my gosh, I want to lose weight, whatever, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds, and then you go on this diet, and then you're like, do I really wanna lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds? I'm kind of happy the way I am. And so then that just kind of goes to the side, as we know diets don't work. But if we can together think about like, okay, what is first gut health? And why is it important for us to focus on that, which will in turn help us lose weight, which will in turn help our hormones, which will in turn help us sleep better, all of these amazing things by just thinking about how we can help our microbiome function better and create more of a symbiotic relationship in your body. So what is your like gut health, and why is it such a hype right now, and why, and not right now, but it's a lot of recent study on what is microbiome and how can we strengthen our microbiome, and then we are mostly our bacteria in our body, which is totally crazy. So there's hundreds of trillions of microbiome in your body. Most of it resides in your gut, but we have different bacteria on our cheeks, on our mouth, in our nose, on our skin, in our stomach, in our vagina. Like all of our whole body has different types of bacteria, mostly good, that is working as like your worker bee to help you function in a way that creates optimal health. So if we can think about our microbiome, and actually it's so crazy to me, I'm always like blown away that we're more bacteria than we are human cells. So 1 to 10, we have 1 human cell to 10 of the bacteria cells, the microbiome in our body. And so we're actually more of this like microbiome than we are human beings. And so sometimes when we kind of think like, oh, I know like or maybe we don't, but 90% of our serotonin, that happy chemical that's created, we kind of think about it being created in our brain, is actually created in our gut. And so when we're thinking about like, God, every time I have these like cravings, I can't get myself to stop eating late night. I can't get myself to get up in the morning and go to workout. I can't get myself. So we think of this more of a self-control issue, where what science is really showing us is that if we are mostly our bacteria, our microbiome, that has great control over our cravings, over these little like bacteria that are all over in your body, want to one, support you, but then if they get where they're turned around, so you have more of the bacteria that's harmful, then they feed on sugar, on processed food, on alcohol. So then you'll start craving these types of foods, and then you're like, you shame yourself for it, when really it's probably a lot to do with how healthy our gut is and how our microbiome is either supporting us or not supporting us. So this is such an important conversation that I think about and that I have with myself very often. So when you're thinking about your microbiome, we're mainly going to talk today about like your gut and your gut health, because that is where most of our positive or good microbiome live. But I also don't want to just pass over the microbiome and the bacteria in our mouth, on our skin, and all of these things are really, really important. I've read, it's called The Microbiome Solution, and it's Robin Chutkin. And I've read it a few times. It's super scientific, so sometimes it's a little bit boring, but so many important discussions on how our gut and how our microbiome are affecting us in all the different diseases. And so sometimes we can maybe disassociate good gut health with like heart disease, with all the autoimmune diseases, where if we do not have a healthy gut bacteria, then that causes inflammation, and the inflammation is what really causes a lot of our diseases. And so when we think about like, okay, instead of thinking like I want to lose weight, or instead of thinking I need to eat more veggies, let's think about like this week, write down all of the things that you can do to increase that positive microbiome in your gut, on your skin, in your mouth, all of the places. And then just notice, sometimes you'll notice a difference within like 2 or 3 days. Sometimes it does take like a month or maybe 6 weeks to see a difference, but you should be able to, and what we're going to talk today about is thinking about how we can remove the toxins that are crushing our microbiome. Then we're going to talk about what to replace it with, and then what we want to actually restore our microbiome and that really healthy, happy gut. So the first thing is, what is it? We have hundreds of trillions of bacteria that are our little worker bees that do everything from take our food and create vitamins and help us digest, and take, from our mouth to our esophagus to our stomach. They digest and assimilate and help the lining of our gut so it's not perforated. There's so many incredible things that this microbiome does. And then from there is when we have a really healthy gut, and you can get super nerdy in this, like if you start researching, there's so many amazing things that you can do to really help that and build that positive gut bacteria. But today what we're going to talk about is removing, restoring, and replacing some of the things that we do simply every day to just help you feel better, feel happier, less cravings, better body weight, and just able to function in this world in a better way. Okay, so the first thing is eating. And I know you're like, I know we talk about this all the time, but when you're thinking about your food, is really focusing on fiber, and not just digestible fiber, but indigestible fiber. So the fiber in food, so the fiber that you cannot digest with your stomach, is actually eaten with your microbiome. So it's really important to think about some of the foods that we're eating and just simply eating more veggies. And we've said this 100 times to each other, right? Like, eat your veggies first, eat your veggies first. But if you want a really healthy gut, which pushes away the disease and brings on all the happy stuff, focus on eating your veggies first. Cruciferous vegetables, onions, garlic, broccoli, greens. I mean, anything that has fiber in it, like legumes, adding beans to your, and be careful, you don't want to add all of these things too quickly. And I always want to remind you to check with your healthcare providers before you do anything that I say or that anybody says, to make sure that it's okay with you. But if you go from eating, which the average American eats 10 to 15 grams of fiber, where we're supposed to have upwards of 35 to 40 grams of fiber, if you go from 10 grams of fiber to 40 grams of fiber, your stomach is going to be this big and you're going to be like, Nikki, I'm in so much pain. So go easy, but start gently introducing more beans, more greens, and then just kind of have fun with it. So for apple cider vinegar, so ACV, you'll see it kind of like, around, is very popular. And this has also been known, there's a lot of medicinal values in apple cider vinegar, but it also helps your gut lining and revs up your metabolism. So you can have it in the morning. Sometimes if you have it after meals, it's been shown to decrease the absorption of the nutritional value of your food. So it's good to have it in the morning on an empty stomach. What I do, and then you need to dilute it because it is, it's strong, it's acidic. So what I do is I put it in my lemon water, and I know it looks kind of like a little bit gross, but it's not, it's yummy. So this is warm water, lemon, cinnamon, and then just like a splash of apple cider vinegar, blend it up, and it's really delicious. And so, so if you are wanting to add apple cider vinegar, and maybe that doesn't sound good in the morning, you can have it before meals, you can have it for a midday snack. For me, I love drinks. I love teas and tonics and just little ways to sneak in better stuff. So this is when I was researching and preparing for this live talk with you guys, it reminded me, put your apple cider vinegar in your lemon water. You already drink it every morning. And I started doing it and I love it. And it's made me feel really good. So that, and you can also put it like in your dressings. I know Deb does like lots of recipes with apple cider vinegar. So just thinking about as much as you can, just adding some apple cider vinegar. And then when you're thinking about your food, so anything that's fermented is really good for our microbiome. It feeds that good bacteria in your stomach. So if you think about like sauerkraut, yay, I'm getting some hearts. Yes, sauerkraut, anything from like kimchi, miso, tempeh, the sugar-free, like dairy-free yogurt. So Mickey gave me all of these amazing, delicious peaches, and I froze them. And then I get, it's like cashew, just plain yogurt. I put cinnamon because cinnamon is also really good for your gut, and it helps with digestion and appetite suppressant. And then I do walnuts, and that is like the yummiest breakfast ever, and that's feeding your gut all the good stuff. So thinking about just adding some more things into what you already do. And the great thing about when you're focused on gut health and not weight loss is that you're thinking like, okay, what can I add in? Nothing is demonized, although of course, like sugar, processed food, alcohol, especially artificial sugar, it wreaks havoc on your gut. But if you eat more veggies, drink good water, herbal tea, you don't have to quit anything except the artificial sugar, I think. But you're just kind of just focused more on the positive and ways to feed that really healthy gut and just slowly kind of pushing things out. Another thing that I love that is really good for your gut is different teas. And now with the weather turning, I drink teas all year long, but some of the teas, and for me, it's important to drink different kinds of teas because I can drink too much of the caffeinated teas, which is not good for one, my gut, or also not good for my sense of well-being. So the teas that I focus on for really good gut health are ginger tea. So you can make homemade ginger tea like we've talked about before. You can buy ginger tea. Peppermint tea is really good after meals. It helps you digest and feeds that positive microbiome. Chamomile tea is an awesome tea to have like right at bedtime because it's a calming effect, but it also is and has been shown to be good for your gut. Cinnamon tea, I kind of put cinnamon in everything, but if you put like the cinnamon sticks, it looks beautiful. It's yummy. It smells really good. Black tea, oolong tea, dandelion tea is like one of my very favorites. Dandelion has, I put dandelion in my smoothies too, but dandelion is really, really good. It's a bitter, so it's great for your intestines. Yay, thanks, Mom. And oolong tea has tons and tons of really good effects on your energy, on your metabolism, on your gut. So those are some of the things that I add in. So foods, we're focusing on fermented foods. We're focusing on lots of really good indigestible and digestible fibers. We're adding in maybe some apple cider vinegar, lots of water, and some really great tea. So the next thing is rewilding your habits. So if you think about, or if you've heard like rewilding, like when there's a problem, like when anything in, like say the fire with Tahoe, and when they rewild, they plant the trees that are supposed to be there, thinking about how to kind of get back to nature. And especially with COVID, we are, which is okay, but we're hyper clean. Lots of hand sanitizer, maybe more afraid of things that we shouldn't be afraid of. So when we're thinking about our microbiome and how our body functions, being too clean can actually really hurt the natural bacteria in our body. So I'm not saying I wash your hands like crazy. Like I wash my hands with good old-fashioned soap and water. I love washing my hands. But the hand sanitizer is not optimal. Now I know sometimes we have to do it with like COVID and all the things that are going on, and I get it, but as much as possible, wash your hands with good old-fashioned soap and water. And then when you're in like the shower, think about using soaps that are that are very, very natural and easy. And you don't have to wash your whole entire body. So I know like as kids, we're like, you soap your whole body, like head to toe, but really your body is not, and your body functions better a little bit dirty. And if you just wash the parts that, are dirty, and then let the water just naturally wash over the other parts, you're doing your body bacteria a favor. With brushing your teeth is using a real natural toothpaste. that isn't harsh on the bacteria in your mouth. And then as much as possible, get dirty. So take your shoes off, put your feet in the dirt, jump in the lake, lay down on, grass, on just natural surfaces as much as possible. So like when like the kids come in and they're like muddy and filthy, that is so good for our microbiome. It's so good for us to actually be in like the natural minerals and the dirt. So when you're thinking about like, okay, what else can I do besides just my food? What else can I do to help my natural bacteria support my body in a way that I'm functioning happy and well adjusted, is just get a little dirty. Okay, and then I know that we're kind of running out of time, so I only have a few more minutes with you, but sleeping is incredibly important for everything. But studies show that when we're not getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, it actually affects our microbiome in our stomach and in our gut. And then and so you're like, gosh, when I get a bad night's sleep, I crave crappy food and I feel foggy. Well, all of this, there's actually like chemicals and neurological functions that are happening when we're not sleeping well. So sleeping well, and then I can't ever leave this like gut conversation without saying that exercise is important. And it's so cool. Like our microbiome is very individual to us, and there's tons of research on like if you were born vaginally or cesarean, if you were breastfed, all of these things have a lot to do with your microbiome makeup. And that makeup that actually has more to do with our like behavior, our body size, our cravings, these kind of things, than actually our hereditary, the things that pass down to us. So when you're thinking about exercise and you look at the people who regularly exercise or athletes compared to the people who don't exercise, they have a very different microbiome makeup. And so when you're exercising, it feeds this microbiome and creates more of the good stuff that we want and helps push out the bad stuff. So making sure that we're exercising, just move your body every day. You can always join me on live stream. I coach like 3 days a week. You can find our class schedule on the app, but going out, taking a good brisk walk, doing some push-ups, but finding maybe a community of people that you love to work out with will also help, because the last thing I'm going to leave you with is reducing stress. And this is something that I talk to myself often about, because a human being stress, right? Maybe for no reason necessarily, but we're always like, I have to do this. My husband thinks of me like a squirrel. I'm always like working, and I'm like, I'm at 1 o'clock, and I run. And then, so when we think about like the levels of stress in our lives, that also has a lot to do with how our microbiome is and how we're functioning. So lots of us, we know individually what calms us and then what flips us upside down. And when you're feeling stressed this week, or maybe just in this month, is saying like, okay, stress is actually eating away my good microbiome, which I've worked so hard for, and it's creating upset stomach and havoc in my system. And so then maybe we can utilize tools with like breathing. We've talked about that box breathing. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4. Just taking a few breaths, calming ourselves down, saying, is this something that really is that big that I want to upset my life and my microbiome? Usually the answer is no, and we can calm ourselves down. Okay, last is just supplements. So I think it is important to take a good probiotic. I don't always take it. I just take it sometimes. So when you're thinking about, okay, what probiotic should I take? There's a lot of different research on what probiotics actually do for your gut, for your whatever, for your moods, for your hormones, for vaginal health, all of these things. So, Deb, I'll give you a list of some of the hormone or some of the probiotics that I think are good, and then we can send those out to you guys if you sign up on the app, or I'll post them here in Facebook. L-glutamine is another supplement that is, and I'll show you guys, can you guys see it? L-glutamine, and maybe Deb, you can drop it in there from Amazon on Facebook and on our app, but that is also a supplement that's been shown to be very helpful for our gut health. So that's one that I take. And then you can also take like apple cider vinegar, it's like concentrate if you don't like the taste of apple cider vinegar. Okay, so when we're thinking about how to replace, restore, and like add in all of the things that are good for us, first start with, if possible, try not to take antibiotics unless really needed, because antibiotics and prescription medication does cause havoc to our microbiome. So unless it's, something that, of course, we're very, very thankful for antibiotics. We're very, very thankful for modern medicine, but just really make sure that it's something that you can't fight yourself before you take it. And so when we're removing things, is removing the sugars, for sure artificial sugars, the lotions and things that have lots of chemicals, the things that we clean our house with. And then we replace that with as much healthy food as possible, with sleep, with dirt, getting into the dirt more, regular exercise, and then again, just really making sure that our products are clean, and then just enjoying our life, taking the stress down, and just thinking about all the great things that this beautiful microbiome does for you. So you guys, I hope this was helpful. I absolutely love my time with you. Please give me feedback. Let me know how I can be more helpful to you. I love it when you guys ask for certain things to talk about. It gives me a direction, and it helps me. I love studying and then just taking what I learned and sharing it with you. Thanks everybody for being on. I hope to see you on the workouts. If not, just have an awesome, wonderful day. See you soon. Don't forget to type in where you're calling in from so I know everybody and so I can answer